So this video describes 4 key Medicaid rules regarding the ownership of bank accounts. Hey everybody, I'm Paul Rabelais. I'm an estate planning attorney all around South Louisiana, helping families arrange their affairs so that they can protect what they have, pass it along to their surviving family members. This issue comes up a lot. People want to protect what they have in the event they go into a nursing home. Most people in Louisiana have seen family members or friends lose a significant portion of or all of their life savings due to a long-term skilled care situation. So I will tell you up front, most of the things you can do to protect what you have really must be done at least 5 years before someone enters a nursing home. This video, though, is going to address on kind of what some of that stuff is, kind of to tidy things up at the very last minute. So it's important to know the basic rule. Most people know that if a single person goes into a nursing home, they can only have what's called up to $2,000 of countable resources, bank accounts, stock, mutual funds, property. So it becomes real important in determining, what do they mean by bank accounts? So we're going to look at 4 key rules. First key rule regarding a bank account when somebody goes into a nursing home and applies for Medicaid is Medicaid counts the balance shown by the bank for the first moment of the first day of the month when they're applying for Medicaid. They're applying May 10th. They're thinking, we got to have less than $2,000 in the account on May 10th. No. It's the first moment of the first day of the month. What's in their bank account on that first day is critical. So that's key rule number 1. Key rule number 2, and by the way, you'll have to furnish lots of bank account information to verify all of that. Rule number 2 is that an encumbrance may be deducted from the bank account balance. What's an encumbrance? Encumbrance is a legal obligation to pay a debt. It exists when a check has been written but not cleared by the first moment of the first day of the month. Let's say on the 25th of every month, Dad, writes his rent check, and it's for $1,000, and the landlord or the owner hadn't deposited the check as of the first day of the month, and so that the amount of that check is still in Dad's bank account. Well, Medicaid says, if that's a valid debt and there's a history of Dad, writing a check for rent on the 25th of each month, then they won't count that $1,000 for purposes of the bank account. They'll deduct that from the bank account balance. So an encumbrance may be deducted. Important Medicaid rule number 3 involves the much often asked about unrestricted access account, commonly referred to as an OR bank account. Here's the example. Dad has this checking account. Dad doesn't want it frozen when he dies. He wants daughter to have access to it, doesn't want the account to be frozen, doesn't want the family to have to go through the courts with attorney involvement and all that expense and delay just to get access to Dad's bank account when Dad dies. Or maybe Dad just wants the daughter to have access to it so she can write bills, and because he's kind of tired of it and he's getting old and he doesn't want to pay his bills anymore, so he wants daughter to have access to the account. So Dad's now going into a nursing home and it's a dad or daughter account. So how much of that is Dad's money? Well, the Medicaid rules say the Medicaid applicant, in our example, Dad, is presumed to be the owner of all of the funds in an OR account. So, accounts in Dad or daughter, $4,000 in the account, presumed to be all Dad's money. That's going to cause a problem for purposes of the Medicaid application. But that leads us to important Medicaid rule number 4 regarding bank accounts is the rebuttal for unrestricted access accounts. It's where if Dad, in our example, doesn't consider himself to be the owner of all of the funds in that account, he can rebut that presumption that he is the owner of all of the funds in the account. How does he do that? Well, written statements from him, from, in our example, daughter, showing, and then they'll have to show a history of the deposits and the withdrawals from that account and what all of those funds were used for and where those came from. to show that dad is not the owner of all of those funds. And then they'll have to either change the account or set up a new account so that, it's an account only in dad's name that has dad's funds. So, most people who have dad or daughter accounts, most of the time it's dad's money. It's his pension and Social Security going in there. It's his funds. It's his bills being paid out of that account. And so they count all of that account. It's presumed to be all of dad's money, but you can, important rule number 4 is you can rebut the presumption to show that it's not all dad's money. So that's it. There's other rules as well, but if you just understand those 4 rules right there, that can really get you started on the right foot with a Medicaid application. When all the documentation isn't provided or things are answered and it's not real clear or it's ambiguous, you could potentially delay for months or longer, a successful Medicaid application while ringing up all these very expensive nursing home bills at many, many thousands of dollars a month. So it's important that you do 2 things. One, you plan ahead. I mentioned earlier, at least 5 years ahead, to make sure that you take the kinds of actions that you can take, that you're permitted to take to protect things down the road. And then 2, when it's time to apply, make sure you understand some of these last-minute rules that can help you apply the right way, document things correctly, make it easy for the Medicaid office to approve your application. So that's it. Really important that you take care of this stuff in advance, and really can help protect what you've worked for your lifetime. Hope this information helps. If you like it, subscribe to the YouTube channel here. You'll get notifications of future important information that we put out there. Feel free to write a comment or 2 if you have some positive contributions that you'd like to make. And most importantly, take care of this for yourself and for your family. I'm Paul Rabelais. Go out there and have a great day.